will say though, if you feel like marriage is not for you, then stop talking about it. Like, this is what really bothered me the most, because I went down a little rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I started off with the headline, then I went to just kind of see what the commentary was going on about it.
Yeah.
And woo, there is some scarred people out there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, if you think marriage is not for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
But leave it alone. If I choose that battle for me, or if I choose to do the work for me, let me do the work. Like, leave it alone. Yeah. Like, okay, we have friends who are vegan, and they told us. They'll tell us like the health benefits and all the things great about it, but they don't try to force it on us.
Correct.
'Cause we've tried. It ain't really work for us. But I'm not gonna be bashing vegans just because it's not for me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, y'all do you, we do us, and we still are cool. Like, everybody's cool. Yeah. Like, everything is not meant for everyone.
This is the B-side, 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 the marriage. This is the B-side, 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 the marriage.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Bside of Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Rashonda, and this is my husband and co-host,
Jason.
And here at the B-side, we talk about everything related to marriage. The good, the bad, the real, the A, and the B-side. So if it's your first time joining us, welcome. We would love for you to like, share, subscribe, do all the things on all the platforms, because we're there. So yeah, because we want to make sure you guys stay connected.
As well, you can follow us on Facebook at The B-Side of Marriage and on Instagram at B-Side of Marriage. Sorry, I always get those mixed up.
I know.
And we've been doing this how long?
I don't know. Okay. But yes, so let's go ahead and jump into our first segment, which is where we share an A or B side moment from the week.
Oh, wow, yeah. I always get these. I always forget these.
I know, because last week was our first episode back, so yeah, we're a little out of practice.
A little out of practice. So I'm going to say it was an A side for me. Hearing that our son got a shout out from the principal for how he acted. That's for me. That was good, because to hear that he's.
Well, it was a core value. But a school value, being responsible. So it wasn't just behavior; it's also academically as well.
So, but I guess that's mine. What's yours?
Mine was A as well.
Okay.
Because I got to attend a mother and son game night at the school with my youngest, and this pro baby, he is such a sweetheart, and he was just like so excited and just loved the fact that he got to spend some like one-on-one time with me. And then that's when I realized, I was like, because we really don't, like, if we do hang out, it's usually him, it's like the littles and then our oldest. And I was like, so it just made me realize that I do need to do like more one-on-ones with each of the kids individually, because he was so happy. And because he's still at the age where he gives all the hugs and stuff. So, like, we were there and he kept hugging me and all the things. So, he's not embarrassed by me yet. So, yeah, that's my inside.
I don't think he's going to get embarrassed.
I told him, I said, don't do it. I'm relying on him.
Yeah.
He's my last hope. So.
All right, so then we get into the P2P share, where we share something we are reading, listening to, or watching.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think I have anything to share. Why don't you go and see if I can think of something? Or did you have something? You didn't?
Honestly, I didn't have anything because, this past 2 weeks has really been a lot of me just on work, just like everybody, it's just work stuff. So I've been just turned everything off. Kind of like I said last week, I've kind of turned stuff off, so I really haven't been listening or reading anything. So,
I agree with you on that. I've been doing a lot of. Well, one thing's frustrating. A lot of reading about junior high. They're already starting course selections and stuff. So, trying to get prepared for that, and then trying to get prepared for residency and internship. So I've kind of been like reading in some not so fun stuff. But I will say I am looking forward to watching the 1619 Project on Hulu.
Yeah, so
but I really want to be able to sit down and watch it and not like have it on while doing some other stuff. So it's not really a P2P share because I don't know if it's any good, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so what are we talking about today then?
Well, today we're kind of talking about a hot topic.
I know nothing about this really.
Well, yes. So a headline grabbed me, and I guess it did its job. Lala Anthony was doing like a little guest spot or segment, whatever, sit-in, whatever, on The Breakfast Club. And I saw this headline, I saw this headline that said, Lala Anthony says marriage is no longer a goal for a lot of people. Most married people that I know are miserable. So I saw that and I was like, well, I felt like that was aggressive. So I was like, let me go in and actually like listen to the segment and see if that's really what she said.
Yeah.
And that's not really what she said. So I was like, well, the headline did its thing because it got me to go listen to the show, or that segment of the show. But it also got me to agreeing with some of the things that was said. So I just want to talk about that and get your thoughts on it. Okay.
All right.
So I know there's the negative perspective of marriage in society, or just out there, which is, I know, one of the reasons why we wanted to start the Bside of marriage, because we wanted to show like the wide range of the things that are associated with marriage. Okay. And so now the younger generations are saying that they're no longer dating to get married. And I guess, what is our response to that? So I came with some things that not a so.
Oh, okay.
I actually agree that marriage should not be the goal of dating, because I think we believe that marriage is not for everyone.
Oh, that is true.
Okay.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay. I think people don't really understand what marriage is, like the purpose of marriage. So therefore, I don't think everyone's meant to get married. Okay. So God created marriage, and I think because God created it, we've let society define what it means, just like we've done with sex.
Correct.
Like, so because of that, we've kind of missed how it's supposed to be set up, and like the intention behind it and the expectation and responsibilities that come with it.
Correct.
So one of the main things is that when God created marriage, he created Eve just for Adam.
Correct.
Because he said he needed a helpmate.
Correct. Yep.
So he already knew that man could not live on earth alone.
Correct.
He would need someone.
Correct.
All right. So then, not only did he create Eve from Adam's body, but then he charged husbands to love their wives as he loves the church. And therefore, wives are to submit to their husbands because of that order and responsibility that is put on husbands.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how it's set up. But because of that, I don't think everyone should be married, because everyone can accept that kind of responsibility. So I guess, what do you think about that?
Everything you said is something we both believe, correct? Yeah, I'm not going to deny anything you just said, because, yes, as a husband, there's a responsibility that God has given me, as well as, like, it's I forget, it's an umbrella basically. It was something that we saw years ago. An umbrella is that the husband covers the wife, and then it kind of trickles down from there. So it's not about me saying you got to do all of this stuff, but there's still a hierarchy and a responsibility that I have versus what you have. And if you're not, I guess, and if you don't want to have responsibility, marriage is not for you.
Right, and if you're agree. And also too, the reason why it should be relatively easy for a wife to submit to the position of her husband, because the husband is submitting to God.
Correct.
So that's the covering. It's God covers the husband covers the wife, and so forth.
Correct.
So that's a lot of responsibility to just take off of. And I think because society has lessened the importance of like needing that alignment and needing to be held accountable to other people and to others and to each other, that's why it's really not meant for everyone. If you're selfish, if you have a selfish mentality and really are going into marriage about what can you get out of it, you should not get married.
That is correct.
And marriage is hard. Marriage is hard work because of the way that it was designed. Taking two individuals and making them operate as a single unit, that goes against anything else. Like, that goes against anything else that's out there. And so that's why, And then and then the husband is supposed to treat the wife not like a servant, like she's supposed to serve him and be a servant to him. He's supposed to treat the wife like God wants to treats his church. He gave his only son, meaning he gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
So husbands have to be willing to give the ultimate sacrifice. That means death to themselves on the regular in order for their wives and households to run how they're supposed to run. That is a lot.
It is a lot.
And
it definitely
these days, people don't want to do that.
And again, it's society and the world shows different images of what marriage should be. They have all these shows on TV regarding, getting married, like The Bachelor, all these shows, and it's really, if you watch it, it's really superficial, like very selfish about what people want, and it's like, okay, cool, I don't want to be married anymore. They're done. Because they're coming at what marriage is not what it was designed for. They're coming out what society has deemed what marriage is. So, and
I will say it's the worldly corruption of marriage, because I'm not even just saying, if you're not a Christian, then your marriage is not, set up correctly, or does not have a godly purpose, because the world has come in and corrupt church.
Yeah.
The physical entity of church, right? And so when you think about a husband's supposed to treat the wife like they treat the church, well, churches these days are not really doing a good job of treating their people well. And it's actually those people who are in positions within church that often abuse that power, and then they be doing shady things. Because the reason why I say all this is because our divorce is high, period, regardless of if you are Christian or not.
Yeah.
So that means that the Christians are not getting it right either, and they need to be reminded of what the marriage really means and what marriage really is. Instead of, I see myself as being this, I want to be a pastor or director or minister of whatever, then the church, the physical church, has put these things you must be married. Okay, so then they go get married, but their heart's not right, because they're probably one of the people who probably shouldn't be getting married, at least not at that point.
Yeah.
And now you're just moving what's happening out in the world right into the church.
That's good. Yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah.
So that's what I was like. I agree. Marriage is not for everyone. Mm-hmm. I will say though, if you feel like marriage is not for you, then stop talking about it. Like, this is what really bothered me the most, because I went down a little rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I started off with the headline, then I went to just kind of see what the commentary was going on about it.
Yeah.
And woo, there is some scarred people out there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, if you think marriage is not for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
But leave it alone. If I choose that battle for me, or if I choose to do the work for me, let me do the work. Like, leave it alone. Yeah. Like, okay, we have friends who are vegan. And they told us, they'll tell us like the health benefits and all the things great about it, but they don't try to force it on us.
Correct. Because
we've tried. It ain't really work for us. But I'm not going to be bashing vegans just because it's not for me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, y'all do you, we do us, and we still are cool. Like, everybody's cool. Yeah. Like, everything is not meant for everyone, but I also feel like because we're in this age where like all the social media is the thing, everybody feels like they gotta put their opinion on things and then just be negative or criticize those who choose a different path. Mm-hmm. And that's not the purpose of Bside of marriage. The Bside of marriage is never to convince anybody to get married. Yeah. Because, like we said, it's a very serious thing and it takes a lot of work. But if you do commit to doing it, we're here to help you avoid some of the pitfalls, some of the things, and just make you aware of things that you were not aware of going into it.
So I'll kind of not say it's probably, I'm gonna give an analogy. So, there are individuals, people in New York City who don't have a license, don't need a license, so they don't have a license. Mm-hmm. I mean, license to drive a car. So let me stipulate, drive a car. They don't see the need that they have to have a vehicle to get around. So they don't have a license. They have a state ID. They don't have a license though. If you take it in the context of marriage, it's the same thing. It's like, if you don't want to get married, don't.
Just don't.
Don't. Like, it's, if I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, if you don't want to get married, don't get married. But don't act like you want to actually put your feet in there, your foot in just to get married and not put your whole self in.
Exactly.
So
that's true. If you get married, you have to bring your full 100% self. Don't give me 50-50. Give me 100% of your whole self.
So I'll add this as well. So it's the same thing when you get your license, right? The same concept. If you want to get your license, you have to go to the DMV. You have to do the paperwork. Mm-hmm. You have to get your permit. Mm-hmm. Then you have to get your permit and take your driver's test. If you don't want to get your license, you're not going to go through the process of doing all those things. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to get married, don't go through the process of doing all those things. If you do it. Go through the process. Mm-hmm. Don't go in halfway. Go in all the way. Yeah. Get some counseling so you guys can talk about how your lanes are going to merge into one and how you guys can do that successfully. There's going to be some rubbing going on trying to figure out how you guys merge together, but it's not going to be easy. You have to do the work to do it. But if you go in, if you're only going with 1 foot, you're not going through the whole process. So. Mm-hmm.
And that leads me to my second point of there are just too many negative perspectives of marriage in the culture. Mm-hmm. And because of that, people are shortchanging the work because I feel like there's two extremes that you see in when you think about marriage in society. There is the hashtag relationship goals. Oh, that's the perfect couple. They got perfect kids. They got the perfect life. And then you have the trifling. Oh, he's trifling. She's trifling. Baby mamas, baby daddies, like the whole thing. Like there's never like the norm. Like what's normal in marriage is to be healthy. And that a healthy marriage is not on display. It's just not the norm in society, in the culture.
I ain't got time for that to be posting every like
What?
every norm picture. Like it's I don't know. That's just me.
Yes, I mean
That's just me. But
we don't post every norm. We post a lot of norm.
No, but
That's why I look. That's why I made that
no,
face.
but okay.
I get what you're saying. But yeah, because people want to shortchange. So back to your point or your earlier point about the shows.
Yeah.
So there's The Bachelor, but there's like the ultimatum.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like you're gonna marry me or yet it's over. Or Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Where we're just gonna shortcut the situation, our relationship. We're not going to see each other. We're gonna build this connection through a wall, and then when we see each other, bam, we're getting married. Married at First Sight, like all these like dating and relationship shows, like everybody's trying to shortcut the process.
Love Island. I ain't never watched it, but that.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Exactly, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
They want to shortcut the process because no one wants to do the work because they want to get the benefit.
Yeah.
And you might see a couple who go into one of those shows with sincere intentions, and therefore they do come out and they can make a connection.
Yeah.
And then, of course, now they become the poster child of why you should be on this show because look, we got this marriage. They got married and they're still together 4 years later.
Yeah.
But there's more behind the scenes of how they were committed to making that relationship work.
Correct.
Regardless of basically having to learn about each other and get to know each other after the fact. Like they did everything backwards.
And worked through.
And they were working through
the
right.
valleys, all the valleys, working through
all of it.
It's not about just like putting up the deuces when something's going wrong. No, it's about working through all of those differences. Because again, when we come into a relationship, we all bring baggage with us.
All of us bring baggage.
All of us bring it, but it's all more about how you work through emptying your baggage, and you guys coming together and understanding, this baggage that I have is not going to interfere or be involved in our marriage.
Just like if you're going on a trip.
You take everything out.
You take everything out when you get back.
And you clean it.
Yep. Or some of it don't even make it.
You might go to trash.
You'd be like, we just bought that because we were at the hotel. That's what we need at that moment. It won't go on the next trip. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to do that evaluation. And I think if they're more like genuinely like healthy. Now we're not saying perfect. We're not saying great. Because every relationship has ebbs and flows. Yeah. But if we see more healthy relationships within the culture, then younger generations can see that, and then they can have a better understanding of what marriage is, so they can decide if they want to do it or not. Too often, we rely on our family of origin stories to kind of determine, if marriage is for me or not. Oh, my mom and daddy, they got a divorce. So I saw that. I don't want it. Or my parents stayed together forever. I want what they had. Yeah. Not realizing
what comes
because
with that.
Mind you, we say this in the culture. We're really talking about you start at home. Home is your first ministry, right? So it's like we can put all the great or all the best content out there. If once these cameras cut off or once that picture is posted or that video is posted, we treat each other like crap, guess who's going to see that? Our kids. Yep. And they're going to be like, oh, no, if that's what marriage is about, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Start at home and then it'll go from there. But I think if we have more just genuinely true examples of what healthy looks like, then you can make a better educated decision.
And it also goes too with what your community is too, because if you're married and then all your friends are single, how are you gonna see couples go through stuff and work through stuff and
Right, because they don't have that.
Because they don't have that. But
exactly. Because
when
if
you have
they
that
get
community, you have individuals, that if you're close with them, you have people that's going to check you. They're going to check you when something's going on. You can have that open dialogue with somebody, and they're going to check you. Oh no, you acting a fool. Like, it could be whatever. They're going to check you on it, and they'll see, what's, if you try to hide something, meaning like, y'all trying to hide, y'all having something going on. Your friends, your people, your community see that because they know your character. So,
and I mean, it's really great to have friends, couple friends who are like-minded, because you don't want to also be surrounded by couples who are just in it and miserable. Like if their marriage is going through some things and just it's like constantly and they're just like, we're just here for the kids or we're just here for whatever. Like whatever their reason for staying is, and it's just like that will weigh on you too. Because what's going to happen is, or you saw that they were, did this and that, whatever, you'll start looking for it in your relationship. And then the moment that he does something or she does something, you're like, oh, here we go.
Exactly.
Here we go. Or start trying to make your exit strategy, have your exit plan. Like, okay, well, he must be cheating or he must be thinking about cheating or whatever the case may be. So I need to make sure that I'm, got my coins on the side, like set to the side. He, if he ain't going, like I put this in my name only and make sure, whatever. Like you don't want that energy as well, because especially if you have kids, they are watching.
Everything.
They're looking.
Everything.
And even just not even kids, just people you are around.
Yeah.
They see it. They'll notice.
Because like, me and Shonda be joking about stuff sometimes. And it'd be just me and her joke, but our kids are ear hustling, so they're looking at stuff. And they'd be like, why are you guys arguing? And we look at each other like, huh? What are you talking about? We're like, nobody's arguing. But no.
Right.
No,
but then then it becomes a teachable moment.
Yeah.
It was like the way that we joke around is sarcastic, which is why if we're talking to each other,
it's for us.
It's for us.
It's not for y'all.
For you.
And a lot of times, this is just something I want to say is, something that we grew up saying, kids supposed to be seen but not heard. I want to say that, but I'm like, no. I don't say that just because it's like, even what it made me feel like when I was young, when I heard that, I'm like,
so. You don't want to minimize them.
Yeah, that's the word. Okay, yeah. So, but
sometimes you're like, stay out of grown folks' business.
Yeah.
But we do have them, now they know.
Yeah.
Because our kids want to know everything.
They want to be in the business.
In the business at all times.
Yeah.
And know all the details. We were like, hey, what are we doing? Minding our own business.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we're like,
now it's a song. We got a song. So
yes. And
when one person, like if I say it to one of our kids, the other two be like, minding my own business. Like, so yeah.
Yes, it's a whole thing. Because we're also trying to teach them boundaries. Like every conversation is not for you. Exactly. So you need to be respectful of other people's conversations. Yeah. Just because you're around doesn't mean it's for you.
Correct.
So yeah. But yes, we did go off on a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah, we did.
But that interaction, it matters. That's even like hanging, like we have friends. We're blessed that most of our
community,
most of our couple friends, both of us are friends.
Yeah. Like
we're friends. Like I'm friends with the wives. Jay's friends with the husbands, and so they know like when their kids come over, they're hanging out or whatever, they if Miss Rashonda says something, I have to listen to Miss Rashonda because, it's just like an extended family kind of vibe. And because they see that and our kids get to see how other couples interact with each other as well. Like it's literally like it's a learning environment.
Yeah.
And then they see how there's different, like couples communicate differently than we do.
Yeah.
And they get to see that as well. And they also know, like, mommy and daddy don't always agree on things. But what we don't do, we don't raise our voices at each other. We don't call each other names.
Yep.
Like, there are things that we don't do even when we're working through something because we don't see eye to eye.
Correct.
And then that gives them an example of how to be able to resolve conflict in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're right.
So anything else?
No, I ain't got anything else.
All right. So then let's go to the last point that I wanted to make about this little situation. So the third thing that people were saying about marriage not being like the goal of a relationship, it was that marriage is just a business agreement. How do you feel about that?
I'm sorry. So I guess it's kind of it's two things I kind of and I guess it kind of goes back to kind of what I just said, partly what I said before, and I'm trying to process how I'm going to say this because I don't want it to sound real. So in your marriage, again, just like a business, we have CEO, CFO. In your marriage, you have those same things. Mm-hmm. But I don't see that it's an arrangement. Like we're arranged. Okay, I'll take care of this. And that's it. Mm-hmm. I guess that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're so sweet. You can tell we got married a long time ago. That's not what they were talking about.
Oh, okay. That's what I was like. I don't.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's not that's how we approach it.
Oh, okay.
As like being in positions. Yeah. But that's not what they were referring to. Oh. They were literally saying, like, marriage is a business agreement. So my response to it was, let me provide my response and provide more context.
Okay. All
right. So my response was like, I feel like you should check your motivations and your reasonings for getting married.
Okay.
Are you getting married to try to be on the come up? Or are you being married to try to get more influence? Because people were like,
okay.
Like I said, I heard a lot of commentary that I was just like, oh, boo-boo, like, who hurt you? Yeah. Like, truly hurt people are out there and just like, one person said, Black women suffer the most from marriage, getting married because they're marrying these scrubs who ain't got nothing and gonna be nothing. So therefore, they lose their net worth going into a marriage. And that if the person you're marrying is not bringing like is not on the same financial playing field as you, you shouldn't marry that person. I said that is a business deal.
Yeah.
Which in some ways could be
what people
exploitation.
Oh.
Like that could be like, and I'm just like, you have to check your reasons for getting married. Like, getting married is not to try to marry up. Like, you shouldn't be trying to marry into like a particular family or like a position. Like, you got to check your heart for the reasonings why you want to get married and why you want to get married to that particular person. I feel like if you're talking about money, you maybe should not be getting married. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's just paper. Agreed, because our society, like our world has evolved from how marriages were decided beforehand.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go back to the Bible. When, like, it's always been a business. That's just like, marriage has been a business. Okay. And I agree, it is a business, but you should not be marrying it because of trying to be on the come up.
Gotcha.
Okay, because of the business part.
Gotcha.
All right, so when you get married, they always ask, like, the dowry, like, where'd that come from? Because whenever somebody wants to marry someone, you have to come with something.
Okay.
You didn't have to come with money, you have to come with cows or whatever, or this is what you're going to do, and basically to show that you can provide for this wife.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, there was no paper because we're in biblical times. Okay? But they did. That's why sex was so important, because that's how you consummated your marriage. That showed, oh, these two are now married.
Correct.
Okay. So, yes, so there's always been like a business transaction. It's just that now we don't have to do, like, it's not just sex. It's like an actual form, like an actual license that you have to get.
Yes.
But it is so easy to get into a marriage. Literally, you fill out the form, wait, whatever, and there's no test, there's no nothing. You're married. You just wait, you're married, right?
Let's not go into that.
Okay, but then when you want to get a divorce, it's the division of assets, the lawyers, all the fees associated. So it's very hard to get out of a marriage, but easy to get into. So a lot of people say, I don't need to get married because it's just paper, right?
Yeah.
As long as we stay loyal and committed to each other, that is like we're married. So if you're that loyal and you're that committed, why not get married? Because like I said, it's easy to get married. It's harder to get divorced. So if you're so committed to that relationship and it's just paper, just get the paper. But it holds you accountable.
But that's the thing.
Because
Nobody-
if you're not going to be committed.
Nobody wants to be
You
accountable.
don't have to be committed.
Nobody wants to be They don't want that.
But I'm just saying that's not a fair argument.
No, I agree. It's not.
Yes, we can just be together. We can, we can live together. We can do all the things. And I'm not saying like no shacking or whatever. I'm not getting into that debate. That's not what this is about. Yeah. It's about because you say you can trust this person, you can stay committed to this person, you don't need the paper, then just get the paper if it doesn't mean anything. But I already know she's gonna stay, committed to me because, that's just what kind of relationship we have. But if something ever happens, guess what? They're just out the door. They're out the door, they've moved on, and it's easy. Basically, you want easy. You want convenience to be able to come and go as you please.
Okay, so in every other thing that we do.
Yes.
Every other thing. If you buy a car, you
Yep.
buy a house.
Yep. If you get a job.
You have to sign documents stating you are responsible for this vehicle. You're responsible for paying for it. You're responsible for this house and paying for this house every month. You're responsible. What was the one you said?
I said work.
Oh, you're responsible. If we say we want you from 9 to 6, you're responsible to be here
for performing and doing the job that we hired you to do
from 9 to 6. So why are we always? And this is why I said I don't want to get into this, because this is stuff that burns me. Not say burns me, but it does. It gets me amped, because the simple fact is, you can quickly go say, and I'll say tax season coming. You quickly take your money and go somewhere, buy a brand new car, sign papers for something stating that you're gonna make this $1,300 payment every month.
That's a problem in itself, but go ahead.
But you can't. But then something like based off what she said, or what this person said,
the people's. It wasn't just one person.
Like. You can do that, but you can't. You say you can't do that for marriage. Like you're.
Yeah. Yeah,
that burns me because it's the same thing with your license. It's like you have to you have certain things you have to follow. In your marriage, if you're if you're taking the time to really get to understand what marriage is and the process that it is, you have to do the same exact thing. It's not something you just jump right in and it's, I know everything. No, it's a process. You're learning it. You gotta, like I said, I'm done. I'm not gonna go anymore because it burns me.
Yes, and it's like, there's always an agreement. There's always an agreement. I was just thinking, and then what do you have to show that to demonstrate your commitment? Like when you have a car, you have a title. Mortgage, you have a deed. Your relationship.
This is literally.
Yes. You have a marriage license.
Yeah, but then this too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have those things to show. And like I said, I'm not saying marriage is for everyone. But if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. Don't say, oh, because it's just a piece of paper. Like, it seems as though you're making an excuse as to why you're not married. Mm-hmm. And then for you to say, like, I'm going to lose net worth.
Listen,
I was like, wait, what?
If you don't pay your car payment, they can come take your car.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're not doing what you, that's again, it's like.
I wish we had marriage police.
That's what's like
sometimes. But like,
if you're not doing what
you're not doing what you're doing as a husband.
Like if you're not doing
y'all need
what
to
you're
go
doing,
to.
Yeah, give you a
mandate,
Here you go. You get a ticket.
All right, cool. Class.
You gotta go to this class.
You gotta demonstrate.
You gotta pay the court.
Mastered this.
You gotta pay the court fee first, and then it's just. Yeah, like I said, we've had this conversation over years because that to me that's the thing that getting a marriage license is so easy, but everything else is hard to do. Like I said, getting a car, getting a house, like they make you jump through, not say jump through, but you got to jump through all these different things just to show that, yeah, I can pay for this house. But when it comes to your marriage, it's like, just sign this, cool. All right, y'all good. Huh?
Because you just want to go have the wedding, because you want to have a certain date, because you want your anniversary to always be, or you want your wedding date to be, I don't know, 2222. And it's like, yeah, so you get that one day, and then you forget about the rest. And you also forget that you plan on being in the relationship longer than that one day.
That one day, yeah.
So then what happens with 222, 26?
Yeah. Sorry if I went on a tangent about that.
I'm just, like I said, it was like a lot of things, and I was just like, that's why if the whole business arrangement part of a marriage is making you second guess, then marriage is just not for you, and that's fine. But just don't bash marriage.
Don't bash marriage. Just go. If you're gonna get married, go in with the perspective of, I'm going to. This is a process.
Yep.
This is not, I'm trading this car back. No, that's not. This is not a lease. It's not a lease.
Nope.
So
that leads us to our marriage advance tip, which is marriage is not meant for everyone because it will require a level of sacrifice, dedication, patience, and agape love that not everyone can commit to. And that is okay. But if you decide to marry, be willing to do the work, be willing to make the effort, and be willing to check your friend group. Because you're going to need it all and then some in order to have a healthy marriage.
Yes.
So.
I agree.
So, all that to say, marriage, not every relationship will result in a marriage.
Correct.
And not every marriage will be successful. But you should not measure your success, which I don't even know how you can do that, by the quality of your marriage. Yep, that was a thing too. It's just.
I'm glad I didn't go down the rabbit hole for all of this.
It's a whole thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, marriage is not meant for everyone, and that's fine. Also, too, I do want to note, because I started off with Lala, and I did not correct what she did say.
Oh. Okay.
She did say that marriage. She said right now a lot of people are not even dating because they don't want to be in committed relationships, and that marriage is no longer like the ultimate goal for success.
Okay.
She did not say. She said that there are fewer marriages that have healthy relationships.
Okay.
But she did not say that most of her married friends are miserable. Like she didn't say that. So actually, after listening to what was said, was the reason why I was like, let's do this episode on or do this episode on this topic, because a lot of what she said, a lot of people have those kind of feelings, but it wasn't as malicious as
you thought
the headline made it to be, as well as she said. Is not that she doesn't agree with marriage. She just doesn't think she would get remarried.
Correct.
Because she doesn't think that it's right for her, which is fair. So I just wanted to clear that up before, because I know I started off and I didn't really specify what she did say.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, that's it.
That's it.
Okay. Well. Like my wife said earlier, like, subscribe, follow on all the platforms.
Share.
Share as well.
And share again.
And comment what y'all think about about kind of what Lala said as well as what we said. And then until next week.
Because the real work begins after I do.
Peace.